it's so interesting to hear you talk about just how much strategy is going into how you're thinking about responding, because I know there's so many people that are always asking, what are Democrats doing? Are they responding? How are they thinking about this? You are thinking about this. And I think people see you as somebody who's thinking about this, but also they see you as somebody who seems to be out there by yourself a lot. So even hearing you talk about trying to be in coalition with folks, trying to find other people to join in whatever activation you were going to do. I think that may sound different from some people from what they've even been seeing you doing over the past month and a half that we've been here. So I want to ask you about how you were thinking about responding to what is happening in this country. It seems vastly different from some of your colleagues on the other side of this election. And just how you see your role in representing your party and pushing back against the administration.
Yeah. So what I'll say is that everybody kind of looks at this differently. I mean, it's just what it is when you're a Democrat. We all over the place. Big tent, right?
Big tent.
And one of the things that I've been saying here lately is that there's so many people that fail to understand how amazing Kamala Harris is and was. And I know you're like, where are you going with this? I'm gonna tell y'all.
Feel free to announce that she's running for governor right now. I don't know where you're going.
I'm gonna tell you that. I'm gonna tell y'all a little bit of something that's not been said before, but as many of you may know, I was a national co-chair for the campaign. But my announcement came about 3 weeks after I was actually appointed. And a lot of people thought, oh, they saw her do so good on the stage at DNC, they decided to make her a co-chair. That's not what happened. I was a co-chair beforehand, but they were not allowed to release it because there were people that felt like it was a mistake. All right? So there were people that challenged the decision, but I can tell you that Harris stands strong in everything that she does at all times. And she was very intentional about choosing me. And she is probably the only modern day leader that I've seen that understands the value of somebody who is not necessarily presenting in the exact same way as the leader themselves, right? So she understood the value that I could bring because I had always been a bulldog for her. I'd always been in extreme defense of her anytime anybody came for her before she was the nominee. Same thing with Joe Biden. I was the top requested surrogate in the country for Joe Biden, and I went hard for Joe. And so, there were people that thought, well, if we push Kamala out there and, we get rid of Joe, then, we'll be in good graces. But number one, she appreciated loyalty, period. She never was going out, never was trying to backstab Joe Biden. That's number one. Number two, she always knew that there were certain things that I would do that she couldn't, right? And she appreciated that. And so what we're missing right now in this moment is an appreciation for how we all present ourselves as Democrats, because not everybody is going to be me. That's just the reality. Whether it's how I communicate, whether it's the people that I can communicate to, we are different, but that's what makes us great. And so instead of tapping into people's various skill sets and letting them do what they need to do within those skill sets, I think that that's what we're missing. I think what we're seeing is it's kind of like everybody needs to do this one thing. And everybody can't. Everybody can't go to the protests. Everybody can't be on the podcast. Everybody can't do national news. Everybody can't do everything. And so I keep trying to tell people that we have a team and we really need to say, you know what, this is a star runner. This is a star quarterback. This is a star, and put people into their positions. And I think leadership should say, this is who is strong at this. So this is who I'm putting out front. And leadership can then, wipe their hands of the situation. So I think that if people felt like, because right now what people see is I'm operating on my own, or AOC is operating on her own, and it's not necessarily that the caucus or that leadership is necessarily sanctioning or trying to push that agenda. They see us as more so outsiders, because anybody that's been following closely knows that AOC ran for leadership and was rejected by the caucus. I ran for leadership and was rejected by the caucus. So people are like, yo, like, what are y'all doing? And it's hard for people to understand the politics of being in the caucus. Like, the politics inside the caucus don't necessarily reflect the politics of the people. I'm just saying. So I think that we do need to be given some grace to the extent that people don't know where they are best placed in this moment. And I think that it would be better if leadership really just pushed some people out and said, yo, this is your skill. You about to do this because we at war, right? Like, and that's what it is. I also think that we really need to give serious consideration to a shadow cabinet of sorts. Even if it's not within the caucus, but having somebody that's a shadow press secretary. Every time Caroline get up and lie, every time, girl, every time we tell everybody, come on over here. We gonna give you the truth, right? Like, let's have because truth is the antidote. Truth and education will save this country.